What's up, everybody, and welcome to Thursday with us. We are touching down today. We got a jam-packed weekend coming up in college, and I'm just gonna say my dirty birds and do what they doing. As y'all can see, I'm rocking my sorority gear right now. That's gonna bring me some luck for my Georgia dogs. But we are going to talk about this week's college games, get into the NFL, and you know how we do. It's Thursday night. Come chill with us before the game. All right, y'all. Welcome to Thursday night. As y'all can see, remember I told y'all last week we got a special guest, right? So we actually have a new member to our team. DT is not actually gone from us right now. He just taking a little break, so he'll be back. But we do have a new member to the team. Welcome, Snuggins. He is our 49ers representative because we do kind of talk about, well, I ain't gonna say we talk about y'all. That's C. Henry. I'm gonna point the blame on him.
I don't talk about the 49ers, man. Ain't nobody
All
thinking
right,
about the
listen.
49ers. They're a thing of the past.
I blame nobody for talking about us. I'm very flattered by that.
I know y'all 3-0. I see the sneaky 3-0 though. I see that.
We'll
I
see.
see
We'll
that.
see.
Understandable.
I see that.
But before we get that started, yes, I'm happy to be here, and I do appreciate it so much. And yeah, I'm happy to be a part of this. And let's get this going.
Get it going. All right. So we are going to talk about college football, bringing it in. We are going into week 4 with these guys. And it has been a eventful and excitement college football. I mean, Miami did what they needed to do against Florida last week. And then, we got a couple of other teams. My dogs were on bye. Thank God.
Yeah.
I didn't have
Yeah.
a stressful weekend last weekend, so that's great on that one. But this week we actually got a little bit of jam packed. But I do want to jump in really quick on some injury news with some college football, especially with OU. We just heard John Mateer is going to have surgery on his hand. They get a bye week this upcoming week, but the Red River rivalry is coming up. They said he will probably be out for about a month, so that makes his return somewhere in November. I'm not sure who their backup is, to be honest with you. I haven't really checked into that. I know they still got a good defense, but what are you guys thinking? Snook, since you are new, I'm going to start with you first. What are you thinking for OU right now?
No, I mean, like you said, obviously the backup would be key, but the issue too is like when you're like a defensive player and you have like a finger injury, you can kind of get away with having your surgery waiting like a week, and you can kind of come back and wear that club. Different
Yeah.
when you're right, different when you're a player that's going to consistently have the ball in your hand. That's why you don't see it happen a lot with like receivers and running backs. Oh, hey, look at that! What's up,
Hey,
Janet?
Snooze, what's up,
What's
Snooze?
up, man? What's up? Good to see you. But yeah, so that's why you don't see the lot of. So yeah, that part I have concerns with. So like on the timeline, you have to be ready for that. But yeah, I mean, in this situation, I guess these were backup quarterbacks before, right? So
Exactly. See him. What about you? What are you thinking going on right now?
Man, that's a big loss right there, man. He was playing some really good football for them. Definitely a formidable part of their offense. I'm looking up. I was looking. You had me scrambling trying to see who the backup was. A guy named Michael Hawkins, a sophomore, who's going to be. Looks like he's going to be making his first collegiate. I'm sorry. Started 4 games last year. Passed it for 783 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, and again, like you said, he'll be facing off against Texas on October 11th. That's a huge blow, man. That's a huge blow. Considering who they have to play going forward. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. Can they win those games without him? I don't know. We're gonna have to find out.
And Jay Mick, just to kind of catch you up here, we are talking about John Mateer having that hand surgery and is going to be out possibly about a month. So, what are you thinking of what's going to happen with OU moving forward with their stretch of the schedule that they have?
I mean, that's just tough business. Like if you watch that Michigan game, I mean, he pretty much was the offense. I mean, from running it to throwing it. So it's a tough blow for them. And it's coming at a part of their schedule where there's, like they're starting SEC play and all that good stuff. So it's unfortunate, man. Like they got to find a way to tread water for 4 weeks. I mean, that's the way I look at it. Like if they could go maybe something like 2-2, maybe. I mean, like best case scenario is 3-1. I mean, if they can do that, stay in it until he gets back, then I guess they'll be all right. But like I said, like Texas is going to be tough, man. I mean, that's a rivalry game, and I'm not sure what other games they have like after that. But it's just going to be a tough stretch for them.
It's like
go ahead.
Their next 4, real quick: Kent State, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss. Next 4.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, Kent State. That's going to be a win. I mean, I don't really doubt about that. Texas, Ole Miss, and South Carolina going to be tough. I mean, they might not win. They might not win any of them games, to be honest with you. So
that's what I'm saying. It's tough.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So I'm gonna throw this wrench in here because it just came to my mind. Because I don't think we touched on it last week, but I think it's time for us to touch on it. Clemson. Let's have a conversation about Clemson and Mr. Dabo Swinney over there. Not starting off good to the season. I actually had Clemson down as one of my sleepers to probably make it to the national championship because I did have, they ended the season off with the bang last year, even though they did lose that game into the playoffs to Texas. But I thought that they'll come back, had a better, stronger defense, had a couple of pieces that they added, on the offensive side. So I just wanted to give them that opportunity. And this is Dabo we're talking about. But to be down to Temple, come back and get literally beat by Georgia Tech. Like, how you get beat by the nerds? Seriously, the bees. How you get beat by the bees? But to literally leave that all out on the table, what are you guys kind of thinking about Clemson? Is there, I mean, more than likely, probably their playoff hopes are probably dead at this point. But moving forward, what do you think? As we have a shocker, OSU let go of Gundy. Can that be the same fate for Dabo, or do Clemson love him a little bit too much? Snugs, what do you think?
I mean, he's approaching. How long has he been there now?
Ooh,
what?
Yeah.
I mean, so I'm not going to lie and say I know fully their expectations were coming into the season. I know some people were a little high on them, but yeah, I would think if a lot of times to me, it all depends on how bad it gets, like if they start to reel off a couple of losses in a row, you can tell they're not competitive, then you start to have that conversation. But I think it just kind of matters of like where they go. But I don't think it gets any easier as far as their schedule. I know they still have to play FSU. I think they still have to play. I just had their name and they escaped me now, but I know FSU for sure. But yeah, it's just tough. I mean, I could see it though, depending on how bad it gets. I could see them moving off of him.
Yeah.
See him?
Been there since head coach since 2008. Been there a long time. Definitely raised the standard of football there. But has been an open, I don't want to say opponent, but kind of been slow to change. You know what I mean? In terms of NIL, I don't know where where the recruiting is coming in at for South Carolina. I'm sorry, not South Carolina, Clemson. I don't see them as dominant over the ACC as we've seen them in years past. I think the conference has kind of caught up with them. I think when you look at the national brand, the Big Ten and the SEC continue to add talent, and those brands I think continue to get bigger. And I don't think he's really competing at a level that's going to keep that team competitive in years to come. He's going to have to adapt to the transfer portal. He's been very, very, lax to kind of jump in there. I don't know if they have the financial, backing to kind of really be a huge player when it comes in terms of, when it comes in terms of NIL money. But going forward, though, they have the so-called salary cap. So hopefully that's going to be somewhat of a kind of a level the playing ground for him. But he's going to have to dive in head first, or he could go the way of Mike Gundy.
J. Mick.
See, I think the Gundy situation is different. Like Gundy been there for a while. He ain't really brought them no titles. Versus at Clemson, like he's gotten them. I think it's 2 titles. So so I mean, like he's built up some I should say some credits. And so I mean he can survive this season because I mean they were just in the college football playoff last year. I mean they didn't do much in there, but they got in there. So I don't see him getting fired mid-season, but the boosters might kind of tap him on the shoulder, like, bro, like you gonna have to do things a little bit different. Like, dude, what you want to do is just not working no more. Because like he doesn't really want to go into the portal. I mean, I've heard stories of like when he's recruiting kids out of high school that if the kids, I mean, if the kids want to go to Clemson and I mean, say the kids want to visit another school and they do that, he's not going to recruit them anymore. So I just think, I mean, it worked for a while, but his ways have got to like he's got to, I mean, he's got to get the modern times per se. Because if you want to be competitive, I mean, you got to do what the other schools are doing. I mean, like you might not want to do it. It might not fit your moral code, but at the end of the day, it's college football. Your moral code is equivalent to winning. You don't win, it doesn't matter.
It's true.
No, that is true. I mean, take it from me and kind of knowing what our boosters probably have tapped Kirby Smart on there when it comes down to our NIL with that. But Kirby still has a philosophy. You want to play for Georgia, come play for Georgia. Don't come for the money, So, I mean, I get it. Their next slate of 4 games, because currently they are 1-3 right now. But their next slate of games, they got UNC, Boston College. They play SMU, and then Duke. And then Florida State, they see them November 8th. So, they have a little time to possibly try to turn it around just a tad, but it's quarterback play in my honest opinion. Defense is playing well enough to kind of help keep them where they need to be, but it's that quarterback play and the lack of weapons on offense, to be honest. So, but we'll keep an eye out on Clemson on there. But let's kind of go over to this Mike Gundy situation with their 20 season with Oklahoma State, and they finally let him go. I don't know if it was that beat down that they got from Oregon or tired, because I know some of the fans have been calling for his head for 2 years. For them to go ahead and give him the can. So to fire him right now mid-season, boosters did more than tap. They probably marched to the AD's office and said, get rid of him. So that's pretty much right. Yeah, because I mean, at this point, 20 seasons in, and to J Mick's point, you haven't really done anything. But, what is kind of your thoughts on this situation with OSU, and who do you kind of see that they might tap in for their next head coach? If you guys probably have any ideas, but go ahead, Snooks.
I mean, tap in, man, I would have to think. I think it would probably depend on how some things shake out. I mean, some NFL names come to mind quickly, like somebody like a Cliff or something like that, but then depends if he won an NFL job if that happens. But as far as the time, I think it kind of goes back to almost what we were just saying about the Clemson coach, although somebody made a great point about him winning championships, but I mean, it's been 20 years, I think he has about like 10 or 12 bowl wins, but none of those. I think his best one was like I think he did win the championship once. I think it was like 2010 or 11, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So I mean, as far as like not the national championship, is the conference.
Yeah. Big 12.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, but I just think it's 20 years. I think it's time. Kind of goes with what Jamie was just saying about the Clemson coach. Maybe it's time to get something different. Just a different voice, maybe try some different things. And obviously, if you've been there for 20 years, I don't think your ways are going to change, So I think they just kind of made the decision for both parties.
That's true.
Yeah. 20 years been pretty much, beneficial for both, parties involved. But again, you haven't really taken it to that elite level. But again, though, relevant. We're falling back off. We're about to fall back into where we were before you got the job. So we might as well just, hey, thank you for your services. And hopefully, tap into somebody who can get us back to at least where we were and take us to that next level, take them to that next level. But who they tap into, I don't know. Who has the coaching wherewithal, also the relationship, the ability to build those relationships with those kids. And also, again, with those boosters, man, to say, hey, I know we have this this salary cap that the school is paying. But a lot of these programs have these collectives outside of that who are feeding these kids different endorsement deals and different payments as well. So we need everybody on board, man. So they're gonna need somebody who can definitely round up the cash, man.
Exactly. J Mick.
I mean, so like the way I view Oklahoma State in the job, it's not like it's not like a Michigan or Ohio State or Alabama or Georgia or USC. It's not that kind of job. So it's not the job that you take and you'll never leave. I mean, even though that's what kind of Bundy kind of did, it's one of those jobs. It's like a stepping stone job. Like that's kind of like to call it. Like you go there, you build the program up, and then you leave to a better, and I won't say better, but I mean to a bigger program. So I mean I don't have any names, but I just think like you're gonna get a coaching name that's kind of somebody that's younger. I mean somebody that's kind of going up the ranks. Might I mean like, it might be like an OC or maybe like offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator at I mean maybe one of those schools that can't get a job at a big school yet, but I mean needs a little bit of like coaching experience. I think that's probably the hire that they're gonna get. And yeah, like I mean, things don't last forever, especially in football, whether you're talking at the pro level or the college level. Like at some point, time is going to run its course, and the school is going to want to go into a new direction.
Exactly. I mean, and then too, you don't lose to Tulsa.
Yeah, that's pretty
You
bad.
don't you don't lose to Tulsa. So
Yeah.
That's a new rival. That's a new rival for them. They didn't even know. They got a new rival, in-state rival.
It's a rival, really, seriously. So there's that. All right. So we are going to move in some of the big games that are happening this weekend. We already know, I'm going to save this game. We already know College Game Day is going up to Penn State. They already calling it the whiteout game up there against Oregon. But we're going to kind of come back down and kind of look at two other teams that were up for grabs. Ole Miss versus LSU, and then Georgia versus Alabama. Now, we don't have to talk about Georgia versus Alabama. We can just skip over them, but they want to talk about it. So we're going to talk about Georgia. We're going to talk about Ole Miss versus LSU with that. So I know Ole Miss has been kind of, they've been playing good, but it's been a little inconsistencies to me. And then LSU, I know some people kind of looked at LSU with that concern when they played Florida, that the way Florida was playing, LSU should have dominated, not score what they have scored for that. So for me, I think this is going to be a good game. This is really going to be a battle that is going to happen. With that, I'll say my pick for later of who I'm thinking. But Lane Kiffin actually has a little bit of extra momentum since his daughter is dating one of the linebackers at LSU, even though we don't talk about that. But it's a little bit of a little kicker that he's actually that his daughter dates another player. So this is going to be kind of a fun game too on that level. But Snooks, what do you kind of think about about this game versus Ole Miss versus LSU?
I mean, I definitely agree with the last part. There could be some interesting fireworks maybe, but no. Listen, I have to be honest. Like when I was, I didn't think my Gators had a chance when they played LSU, and I know the Gators defense is certainly well ahead of where the offense will probably ever be this whole season. But there were still some things from the LSU offense that I was like, man, if this Gator team did have an offense, and stuff like that, like this, like they can, they can be stopped, stuff like that. So I don't think it's a slam dunk win. Maybe I'm off, for LSU. Like I said, we'll save our picks and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I did definitely obviously one of the better games, but I do think Ole Miss can make this a challenge, man. I just think, take care of the ball. Don't let the LSU defense get after them, because that's really, like, to me, that's where they got it kind of out of hand against the Gators. They got those 5 interceptions, caused turnovers, got some easy field, opportunities. So I think if they can take care of the ball, this might be an interesting game.
I like that. Sihan?
Yeah, I'm definitely expecting, I'm saying some fireworks in this game. 57.5 over under. We know that LSU can, definitely put some points up on the board. Ole Miss can put points up on the board. Can their defense slow down LSU though? LSU hasn't really looked overly dominant to me. I looked at this game and I think Ole Miss is ranked 13th and still favored by 1.5 in this game. This game is in Mississippi, so they get the little 3-point little swing generally sometimes for the home team. So yeah, very eager to see how this game is going to shake out, because it seems like Vegas thinks this is a very evenly matched matchup.
Yeah. J Mick.
The way I look at this game is I just look at it like a lot of people don't really believe in Ole Miss. I mean, like both of these teams are 4-0, but I think, I mean, in terms of Ole Miss, I'm not sure who they play, but I can't remember them playing really any top tier competition just yet. But I mean, LSU, they have faced, I mean, like better competition thus far. So I think it's a chance for Ole Miss to kind of prove themselves to people that don't really believe in them, because they kind of had a mass exodus last year, because I mean, like they had a lot of guys go to the draft. So I mean, for them to be 4-0, for them to be ranked 13th in the country, I think they've done well for themselves so far. But like I said, like going into this game, it's a game where they can prove themselves. I mean, it's a home game, so I mean the crowd will be behind them, and we're gonna see what they can do.
Definitely. This is a 3:30 matchup at C. Henry stands. Ole Miss actually is a 3.5-point favorite for this, so they actually are calling this game very close. So we're definitely gonna see how this is. With that, I think this is going to be one of those shocker games. I think it's going to be a very good back and forth with that, because they are definitely evenly matched when it comes down to that. But we are going to move into this game. I said we don't want to, but Hen wanted to gloss over it, so we are going to gloss over it. We have Alabama versus Georgia. This is going to be, I think the last time Alabama actually came to Georgia was probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kirby's third year here.
Yeah, I think
I know we played them in a I know we played them in a hurricane.
That was like 2019 or 18 or something.
Yeah, something around there. So this is their first time coming back to us in a minute. For that, so you already know Georgia fans are already planning. They already got their tailgates ready. They are ready. Fireworks are ready. We are going to have the red lights on. Game starts at 7:30. We are technically, we are the favorites in this.
That's gonna be a lot of moonshine being consumed.
Oh yeah. Hey, you better hope you make it to kickoff. This is dangerous. That kickoff.
Somebody better call the police.
Very dangerous.
I get it.
Everybody hide your pigs. I'm telling you, no pigs.
Hide them pigs, so they will be on that grill. But I'm gonna let y'all speak on it. I know J Mick is like me. It's like, look, we ain't even really gotta talk about it. But
let me ask you this: what y'all say? Are y'all afraid of this game?
No, I was about to say, if I was a Georgia Bulldog fan, I wouldn't be, man. I actually, going back to the moonshine thing, I'd be excited about being able to have moonshine kickoff at 7:30, because I think Georgia's going to win this game. It's going to be pretty comfortable for them to win this game. That's just how I feel about it. I don't know, really. I just think Georgia. I don't think Alabama. I think every program goes through it, man. I just don't think it's not their time right now to be dominant Bama that you remember, bro. It's just don't think like that. I think Georgia's going to win. I think it'll be a good game. I'm not saying it's going to be like a 56-24 game or something like that, but I just think Georgia's going to win it. And I think they'll win it kind of, pretty decisively.
That's interesting. To me, when you hear these two teams, it's just like you can kind of, to me, you like throw out the rankings and you just get ready for some great football. But it seems like to me, since Kalen DeBoer has kind of taken over, I question the fit, I question the culture, I question him being able to have the continuity that I think the Alabama folks thought would happen in the program. So it should be a good game. Again, I think the line is 2.5, so everything is saying it should be a good game. I mean, it's always traditionally been a tough football game for the most part. But if it does get out of hand, Sniggers, if it does kind of lean to that, handily victory for Georgia, does Kalen DeBoer really start to heat up?
Probably, at least a little bit. I mean, just because of their standard, and stuff like that, And I think his seat, because it goes back to J Mick's point about Oklahoma State. made a great point that it's not a program like Alabama, right? His seat becomes scorching hot once you start to get a clearer idea of what guys can become candidates. If there's a couple names that are like clearly they would be just better, or they have a good track record in college or whatever, that's when I think, especially if they start losing games like this, that's when I think it becomes scorching hot. Yeah.
So it's funny because I think the perspectives on both sides of this game are interesting. Because I think from the Bama perspective, they feel like they need to win this game because they took that bad loss to Florida State in the first game of the season. Yeah. And I mean, they played Wisconsin, but I mean, Wisconsin's not the same Wisconsin that I mean we knew from like 5 to 6 years ago. I mean, their program is kind of middling at this point. So I feel as if the Bama fans feel like they need to win this game, I mean, kind of to get like a good win on their resume and, I mean, try to propel themselves back into the college football talk. Now, Georgia, on my side of it, and I've heard it from even some of my fellow fans, like we, in the last 6 times, we've only beaten Alabama 1 time. And it just gets to a point where you have to beat a team. I mean, it's like, I mean,
repeat that, Jamie. Hold on. I don't think I heard you right. Wait a minute.
We ain't gonna repeat it. We not gonna repeat it.
No. Hold on, Jamie. You keeping it real because see, Lady E don't be talking like that. She don't be talking like that.
Because it don't need to be
said. Jamie, what? You
like, look at J-Mick, he didn't open up a can of worms. See?
So what I'm gonna say is just
one in the last 6. I just want
to yeah. I mean, but the thing is, the one win was a very important win.
There might be a little bit of hesitation.
It was what it was.
There might be a little bit of.
I mean, one win we do have was for the Natty. So I mean, it is what it is. But no,
but we ain't gonna talk about it.
Yeah, but it's just gonna be a point where
how have y'all avoided them? How have y'all not played in these?
Because
I mean, and we don't play them every year. I mean, it's just like SEC is not a small conference. So it's just like
okay, it makes sense now. I'm sorry.
We only play.
I'm sorry.
So before we move to the non-divisions, which J-Mick, I literally said it, we should just kept our divisions. But anyway, because they just changed it back. So what happened was with the SEC, you only played certain teams every 4 years. So it was a rotation. So you played all of your teams on the East, all the West played all their teams. So we really haven't seen LSU since 2019 too. So next year we finally get to see LSU. Yeah, so that's
not
so
like
we don't
miss
really.
A year. It's like you it's like 3 or 4 years before you guys see everybody in the conference.
So like for instance, like with Snuggins, even though moving forward, going into our new little format, we're gonna see Florida still every year, just like how we saw Tennessee, but we're not gonna see Tennessee every year. We see Tennessee every other year.
See, I'm not gonna mind not seeing Tennessee every year. I'm gonna be honest with you. Personally, I mean, I don't fear them or nothing, but I just I've just kind of had enough of that personally. But
no, I get it. I don't want to see South Carolina. That's who I didn't want. Yeah. I didn't want to see South Carolina. And I mean, I knew they was gonna keep us with Auburn. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that. That was automatic.
Yeah, but but just to get back to it, like from the Georgia perspective, it just gets to a point where you got to beat a team. And I mean, and I think I seen a stat where Kirby at home at night is undefeated. He has not lost a home game at night ever. See? So you couple that with Bama, and I mean Bama looking a little bit weaker than normal. Like I just think this is a game that we should win. I mean, I went into the season telling folk this. I mean, the only reason I worried about the game was because we haven't beaten them regularly. They're like one of the only teams in the country that we don't beat regularly. So yeah, I'm gonna watch games like that a little bit more because we didn't beat them. Like I'm less worried about playing Texas because I mean we beat them boys twice last year. So that game don't worry me as much. This is one of them games that worries me because, like I said, we haven't beat them in a while, and I mean, like we got to show people. Certain people don't think that we the king of the conference. Certain people, and I remind certain people that I mean, like we are reigning supreme in this conference right now. That's all.
Okay, man. Jay, man, we just want to thank you, man, for your honesty and your vulnerability, brother. You can always honesty and vulnerability with us, man. It's a safe place for you, man. Like I said, we would have never known, man. We thought y'all was just been the beast of the SEC, man, for the last 20 years. Listen to Lady E. We would have never known.
We have been the beast of the SEC, though.
Yeah, they have
look, I'm not trying to jump on you. Yeah, look, I'm not trying to jump on you. To Florida, yes. To Tennessee, yes. To a lot of other people, yes. to Alabama? No.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
good. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So I mean, personally, like you won't see me on Twitter talking trash to Alabama fans. There's nothing for me to say. Like, why would I talk to a team that we only beat in 1 out of the last 6 times? That doesn't make sense. So,
But
I
when
mean,
they do try to say something, I'm like, okay, we beat you when it mattered. We got that natty. So I'm fine with everything else right now. You can go ahead and talk about everything else. We got the natty. That's all I care about at this point.
exactly.
You know,
Fair.
that's all I care about. But yeah. All right, enough of glossing over on that one. I'm trying to go in peace. Woosah. But no, last game for this college football session. Oregon versus Penn State. Now, we know the history of Penn State. Penn State does not do well when it goes up against the juggernauts of that Big Ten. They don't do well when they came up against Michigan, didn't do well when they came up against Ohio State, and now you have the new incomer of Oregon that is coming here. So now, when we're looking at this game, they made this. This is a battle. This is a top 10 battle. Correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot
Yep,
what.
3 and 6.
Yeah, it
is.
is.
3 and 6. Okay. So I'm like, I don't know who was who, but top 10 battle, top 10 match. This is going down, and literally Penn State is ready. They're calling this their whiteout game for the season. Oregon hasn't really played anybody coming up into this game. This is their first real test with everything. So, Snugs, how are you looking at this game right now? What are your kind of takeaways? Can Franklin do it? Can he actually beat a big team, or is he going to go and fall in his normal record?
Man, it's funny you say the whole thing about Oregon. Neither team's really played anybody. It's just, like I kind of want to have like what Jamick was saying about Georgia and be like, maybe it's fine that you're going to have that moment, that time. And I'm pretty sure Penn State's at home, and I think they're like slightly favored. I'm saying like as far as
3.5.
Yeah, like. And you look at like a lot of like metrics and things like that, they're like barely favored. So it's like maybe this is the time he breaks through, but then I just wouldn't be surprised if I look over at the box score and I see, oh look, Oregon won 31-24. Like, oh look, shocked. So like, yeah, I think I would like to see it because I think this the quarterback for Penn State, I know he's kind of getting a little bit of a draft hype now. I don't know, like I think it might be good for them. But I'm not. We can talk about him a different time. I'm not super, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really believe in their coach like that, man. So it's hard for me to say that. I think they need this win more, but I could still see Oregon taking it just because of what we know about their track record and stuff.
Now, see here, and I'm gonna hold you because this is your division. So I know I know you got some things for it. J Mick, go ahead, but I'm gonna hold you because this is your conference.
Okay.
Go ahead, J Mick.
Yeah, when I like what's next, I kind of agree with. Like my issue with Penn State is I don't trust the coach and I don't trust the quarterback. Like Franklin just doesn't win the big games, and Drew Allar, like you see him in the college football playoff last year. I think it was playing against Notre Dame. He had that awful interception that pretty much ended their season in that game. And so when it comes down to like Oregon, like I trust Dan Lanning. I trust Dan Lanning to show up in maybe not the college football, playoff games, but regular season games. He gonna show up. And I mean, his team gonna be ready to go. And so like, I just like Penn State should be able to win. Like I think it's the one they need to get. I just don't think they're gonna get it. And I think the only way they do get the game is that Penn State got to keep this game low scoring. Because I think the issue is with this game is if this game is in the 30s, they are not winning this game. Like this game had to be low 20s for me. I mean, because the thing is, I mean, like you let Oregon start scoring, and like the problem with Oregon is like you've seen it in the past. Once Oregon starts scoring early in the game and they keep pounding on, you're not going to keep up with them and you're going to be screwed. So that's kind of the way I see it.
Okay, see him. This is your conference mates. This is the Big Ten right here. What are you thinking right now?
Big matchup, and I'm torn, man, because I try to support. You know what I'm saying? My Hugh, Mr. Franklin. Hey, man. I want you to win a big game sooner or later, man. I want you to win a big game, especially when it's not against us. I mean, but so this will be good. This will be good for you, man. But I don't think you on our schedule this year. And as much as I say that, man, you just always lose. And whenever these folks get to talking about a whiteout, they need to stop them. They need to ban the whiteout. Everybody in Penn State, hear me out. Happy Valley, y'all never is happy after these whiteouts. Okay, y'all need to ban the damn whiteout. Whenever Michigan come to town, it's a whiteout. Whenever Ohio State come to town, it's a whiteout. You know what I'm saying? Stop the whiteouts. Y'all ain't winning during the whiteouts. And with all that being said, man, Oregon got a first-year quarterback, man. And he just, fortunately blessed to be from this wonderful city of Detroit. And he's just not from any school. He's not from the Cass Tech, but he's from the second best school in the city. Detroit King from DPS. DPS, born and raised and bred. And I think he's going to show up on those when the lights is on. He's going to have some cardies or something on the sideline. I know he is, man. I know he's going to have some sticks with him on the sideline. And he's going to show up, man. And I think Oregon wins this game, man. On the road, during the whiteout, in Happy Valley, making it very unhappy once again. Sorry. Drew Aller, I never see him show up in these big games. So my evaluation of him is right now as a pro quarterback is that he's not ready. So maybe he puts up numbers in these other games. But again, when I see him against Michigan, I see him against Ohio State, he just, total duds. I'm talking about 145, 150 yards. So he's got to show me more. But yeah, I think Oregon pulls this out.
Man, understand. All right. We are going to definitely be paying attention to this game, but I'm not. Y'all are. I'm not.
Georgia Death of the whiteout.
Hey, we got the blackout. Ask J. Mick. We blame the blackout. Yeah. We never wore black ever since then. So
yeah, for me, for me, like during this 7:30 game, Georgia will be on the big screen, and I'll have this game on my little tablet or something like that, man. So yeah.
I'll focus out here. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the NFL.
Yes.
Go ahead and kind of get things together with that. So, a lot of injuries. Yeah, especially with the Washington Commanders. You got the Dallas Cowboys, CeeDee Lamb.
Don't do it like that.
Huh?
No, I'm saying don't do the Commanders like that. You know, with Terry.
I'm just saying they got their injury. They got their injury concerns.
Listen, he got me. He gonna cover my fantasy team. He got me rubbing my quad right now. Come on, Terry. Come on, man.
Oh, Terry, yeah.
Yeah, it's been to the start to this NFL season, to be honest with you, it's been a hectic ride with a lot of these injuries, especially to some big name players. I know, Snug, your team has kind of been getting decimated left and right a little bit. J. Mick, our Georgia dog is hurt, going over there with on the Patriots. Detroit, I haven't really heard anything about y'all. Do y'all have any big names, or everybody's still kind of healthy?
Fingers crossed. Everyone's so far so good.
Okay. My fingers crossed for me. We already took our lumps and bumps at the beginning of the season. Mike Evans is dealing with his hamstring currently right now as they're going into this big game with the Eagles with it. So everybody's kind of getting hit left and right. Snug, since you are a 49ers fan, what is kind of what's going on with you guys and your injuries, and what do you kind of expect, to get some players back, or how that's? I know Nick Bosa is out for the season for you guys as well.
Yeah, so like you say, yes, the unfortunate news is Nick Bosa. Hopefully he's ready to go for next season. But as far as what we have in the horizon, so it's funny because John Lynch actually just spoke today. He does a weekly radio show. He just talked about Brock Purdy should play this Sunday. He took he practiced fine. A couple of our beat writers mentioned he's moving really well in practice and things like that. So he should be back. Jennings didn't practice again today, so we're still kind of waiting on that. Kittle will be back week 6. He's not eligible to come off until the IR until after week 5. But he's fine. They said he's recovering. Everything's looking good there. BA though is an interesting one. Of kind of the big names. He can definitely come off of the pup after week 4. And, you know, when once you do that, you have that 21-day window. So it looks like the Niners will use a good chunk of that 21-day window, because I would say it's probably looking more like around a week 7, week 8-ish for Brandon Ayuk. You know, some fans, we were kind of hoping maybe for like, you know, week 5, week 6, but not, you know, not so lucky there. So, but getting there. But other than that, as a, you know, knock on wood, as they would say, so far so good with everything else, you know, as far as the injuries. But yeah, that's kind of where we are with where people are coming back. So the next couple of weeks, we should be pretty close to as full strength as we're going to be, or as we can be.
Okay, and making some noise in that West, because y'all are gonna be fighting it out at the end. I can already see it.
It's already the elbows being thrown already in the West.
Yeah, it's the only division that every team has at least 2 wins.
Yeah,
through the first 3 weeks. Yeah. So
okay. J Mick, what's going on over there with you? I've seen a couple of players that you guys, especially my Jared Wilson, you know, our puppy over there.
Yeah, so I mean, Jared got hurt. He finished the last game, but he got hurt in the game. I think it was like an ankle or a knee. He didn't practice yesterday. I don't know about today because I didn't see the practice report today, so I'm not sure. Pretty much, if he doesn't practice tomorrow, then he's not going to be playing in the game on Sunday. I mean, besides him and Christian Gonzalez, like Christian Gonzalez he practiced last week limited. He's been limited this week, but I mean, like, you know, I mean, the direction for Christian is that he's going to play, which obviously Christian is our best defensive player. I mean, our secondary has missed Christian playing in the first 3 games. So, I mean, it's been a little rough back there. I mean, like, we are giving up a lot of passing yards. So I mean, like, we're you know, I mean, so I mean, we're going to welcome him back. And those are pretty much the only injuries. I mean, like, we had a linebacker get hurt in training camp. But I mean, he was more like a depth linebacker. So I believe he should be eligible to come off the IR after week 4. So I mean, we haven't really been ravaged with injuries. I mean, you know, I mean, like, we have a couple here and there, but I mean, nothing too crazy.
Okay, that sounds good, because I know I seen y'all come up, and you were, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all got the Panthers, correct?
Yeah, and I got a bone to pick with you, E.
Don't do that.
I got a bone to pick with you. Like, and you got these Panther fans out here acting crazy. Yeah, you got these dudes out here talking trash to me and my friends.
Reinvigorated, rejuvenated.
Talking crazy. Now Bryce Young is him again. Look what you did.
No, he's okay. See, look, when they swept the Saints, they did the same thing. Blame the Saints, because it started with the Saints. Okay, we have known the split.
They fresh off the 30-0 boy though. They fresh off that one though.
Yeah, and the Saints are so down bad. We can't blame it on them. You know, they're probably picking like in the top 4. You know,
they got falcon carcass coming out their mouths when they talking to us. They still spitting falcon meat at us.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
You know, just beat them and put them back down into reality.
We're behind on Sunday. I'm not worried about that. We're definitely gonna do that. I'm just saying. I mean, the way they be talking to us is kind of nuts. It's crazy.
Do they come to you guys, or is it in Carolina?
It's up here. So I mean, but the weather's still good up here. I mean, it's not even cold yet up here. Like it's still like I think it was 70 today. It's supposed to be 80 tomorrow. So I mean, like the weather should be fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Look, so we're going to skip my team when it comes down to review of how our teams play. So I'm going to go ahead and let all of y'all have that, since y'all are the winners. So I'm going to go over here to the corner. But no, Snugs, 49ers, y'all played the Cardinals. Remind me, because I'm going off the top of my head right now.
Yeah.
Y'all played the Cardinals. Very close game, though. I remember that. Very close game. What did you think? Give us your review of kind of like, what did you see that needs to probably improve, or is it just, you know, like we stated earlier, your injuries?
Well, okay, listen, you don't want to use that as a full-on excuse, but obviously it plays a little bit of a part, especially on offense. You know, I mean, even going into that game, Jennings didn't play. Right, so now we're down to having Ricky Pearsall, who's obviously off to a really good start through the first few weeks. And then Kendrick Bourne, who we just signed a couple weeks ago, was basically a wide receiver too. So the only thing that I would say, listen, we'll take the win. It was good to see the final drive like that. This is now 2 out of the 3 games that we've kind of have done that. And that's been a little bit of an area that we've had some issues where kind of close games where, you know, people say, oh, you forced the Shanahan system to pass a lot, you know, towards the end. So it's nice to see, especially with week 1. I think that win week 1 is going to be a little bit bigger of a win as the season goes on. Because I think Seattle's defense is kind of for real, especially their front four. But that's different. But no, but the only thing that I still saw that we need to get better at is we still need to get better at running the ball. We're doing as best as we can, and like Kyle's never going to fully go away from it, just because that's just his style, his bread and butter. But I mean, right now we lead the league in passing yards per game, which I don't know if I don't think we've ever done. I don't think we've ever done that under Kyle. So it's just like it's a weird dynamic we're seeing right now as a 49er fan. We're having to pass a little more. We're relying a little bit more. We're using even CMC more as a receiver, just because of kind of what's going on with their, with our injuries and who we have available and stuff like that. So curious to see if we're going to evolve back to what we're used to seeing for 49er football. But obviously right now we're taking at 3-0. But other than that, like what I'm seeing from the defense, curious how we're going to make up now from, Nick Bosa. And shout out to you Georgia fans, because this Michael kid, he's been a rock star the first 2 weeks. I hope he keeps it up, because he really has been. But other than that, so we're chugging along, trying to get healthy. But listen, you like those kind of wins. They usually bring locker rooms together, so we'll take it.
Exactly. And y'all played the Jaguars, so
yeah, tough game. I think a little tougher than maybe some you might hear. Like he said, Panther fans are talking reckless. Some of my Niner fans are going in pretty confident. And I get it, we're 3-0, but there's some things about their defense, and maybe you want to point to who they played so far, and that's fair. But 7 interceptions in 3 games is that's something you got to point to. I mean, that's a lot of turn. Their defense has been pretty aggressive, pretty ball hawkish. They're really good against the pass so far. I think they're like number 5 in the league against the pass right now. So, Brock's first game back, things like that. So there's, I have, and they have a couple good pass rushers there. So even our offensive line is protect a little bit better against the pass this year than I think some of us thought it would. But still, I think that game's going to be a little tougher. I'm glad it's in California, making them travel, but I think that game could be a little tougher than some 49er fans were thinking.
Yeah, bringing sunshine to the sunshine.
I know, but see, sunshine. Yeah, sunshine, going back to our Clemson conversation earlier, I'm not too stressful about that. I'm more, and when I say worried about our offense, not that I'm not happy at getting Brock back, things like that, but I just think, I think that game is going to be determined more our offense versus their defense. If they can cause a couple of turnovers, make some easy fields for their, for sunshine and things like that, that's when I think you would start to see the game sway their way.
Okay, so he's telling us circle that game. That game might be interesting. All right.
Yeah, I think it could be a good one.
Look, so I'm gonna go ahead and go
that is gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a good game. Yeah,
I think it. I agree. I think it's gonna be a very underrated game of week 4. I agree.
No, that's why I said I'm circling that one. I'm gonna put on my, even though I'm technically gonna be at the Falcons and Commanders game, but I'm still gonna have my red zone on so I can see. Hen, y'all did something that we said that a lot of people said that y'all weren't gonna be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all went in to be more. That's a big win for y'all. That's a big win for y'all. Very, very physical win. Definitely. Y'all, like I said last week, y'all came in motivated. Y'all had that motivation going in. I did see that with their, and again, you kind of got they fan base going in the swirls because they meet the Chiefs at Arrowhead coming up. So now it's a win or somebody gonna head start spinning. But kind of give us a review of your game playing against the Ravens.
Oh man, listen, first and foremost, we got to give, the game ball to the defensive coordinator, man, Kelvin Shepard, who came in with a great game plan, did a great job of putting pressure on Lamar, but also having a spy out there in different cases to kind of keep him contained. We were able to get to him 7 times, in terms of sack him 7 times. We're able to control Derrick Henry, held him, I think, to under 70 yards rushing, forced a couple a turnover, key turnover in the game. And again, gave up 30 points, but hey, we'll take it. They put up, 30 plus in all their games this year, 40 in a couple of games. And again, I think they were kind of gifted maybe 10 to 13 points. I'm still kind of looking sideways at that field goal. I don't know if that one went in or not. You know what I'm saying? And then I got a bold chop block call on my man Brian Branch. I've never seen that on the defensive player. You know what I mean? But all said and done, man, it was a good win for us. We got to get better at the cornerback spot. Terrion, had a rough outing, but I think he's coming along. There was some talk today about him seeing less snaps on the outside. We're going to see Amik Robertson get a few more snaps on the outside there. Not benching Terrion, but getting Amik out there on the field a little bit more. And with all that, again, we came out of that game, a very physical game, mostly healthy so far. So all is well, and we're going to move on and play Cleveland this week, which is a tremendously physical defense, one of the top defenses in the league. And it's always good that they already beat Green Bay, so we won't sleep on this game. It's a home game, so I'm expecting a definitely a good game from Goff this week.
Okay, circle that one too. That might would be good because they did kind of beat Green Bay on a wish and a prayer. So, J Mick, that leaves us as the ones we didn't do it too well last week with our teams. I'm not gonna talk about it. Do you want to talk about your loss with the Steelers?
I'll briefly touch on it. So I was actually in person at the game. The funny thing is, if you didn't watch the Patriots Steelers game and you just looked at the box score and you didn't look at the turnover column, the turnover row, you'd be like, how did the Patriots not win this game? Because we beat them in almost every statistical category that you could beat a team in. But my team saw fit to fumble the ball 4 times and lose all 4 fumbles. And then Drake made through an interception, which was it was inside the 2. We were going in right before the half, and I believe it was Cam Hayward tipped it, and then it went right to the defender. But the running backs fumbled the ball 3 times. It was so bad. It got to a point. I've told this story before. This got so bad during that game in the second half that when the running backs didn't fumble the ball, my section was cheering because they didn't fumble the ball. That's how bad it got in that situation. It just wasn't a good day. You cannot turn over the ball 5 times. We did have a chance to try to go in and tie it on 4th and 3, but my wide receiver decided when he caught the ball off the sticks, he decided to take 2 steps back like an idiot. So that whole game was just maddening for me because it's a game that we could have won. And if my team actually plays well this year and they find themselves in the playoff race and we don't make the playoffs by a game, that would be the game I would look at and say that's a game that we should have won.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I understand. Y'all know that my team laid a booger, so we're off to the Commanders. All right. So we're not. I'm just gonna say this.
I got a quick question. Not for J Mick. Yep. Now you mentioned those running backs fumbling. I gotta ask for the fantasy football community out here because we didn't think that Travion was going, be shelled for so long. Is this the week? Is this the week after 3 fumbles by the other running backs? Is this the week we should put him in the lineup, or we should just wait and see?
So Mondre has always had a fumbling issue. Like he had this issue last year, but it's a whole different coaching staff. So I view Vrabel as more of like he's not like he doesn't coach like Belichick or Parcells, but he's got that mindset. If you keep fumbling the ball, he's not going to bring you in the game. And I think everybody I've gotten this question a lot too about Trey. The thing is he was billed as like a really good, in like pass protection. And when he's been out there at times, he's gotten holding calls. So he hasn't really done that to the best of his ability. But if you go by the practice this week, in practice, he was the first string running back in practice. So, I don't know if Vrabel's trying to be coy about it or Josh McDaniel's trying to be coy about it, but that's how he took a lot of first team reps this week. So for people's fantasy teams, and I actually have him on one of my fantasy teams as well. Carolina defense is not the greatest, so I think what they're going to do this week is going to try to run the ball with all 3 running backs. So if you're kind of weak at the running back position, I would try my luck and just play him personally.
Okay.
Yeah. Take what we did, what we tried to do by running the ball last week. I don't even want to talk about that game. All right. So
yeah, I was just saying Carolina's defense is not that good. I guess it depends on who they're playing. I guess though.
Yeah, exactly.
Bijan was sick last week. They told me.
He was a cut. Oh my G! Look, we're not even gonna talk. I really just want to erase that game off our schedule and just act like that ain't never happened. But it's the Falcons. So we're going to talk about our games of the week, and we're going to discuss our picks too as well. But we're the first game we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Rams. They are a 3.5 point favorite. Look, this is your West. What do you think that the Rams are going to do against the Colts? Because they've been playing lights out this year.
No, they
especially
haven't.
starting this season.
Listen, I'm gonna stick with what I said in the chat, and I don't like this game to me is really it's kind of close to a coin flip just because I think the Colts. I don't want to flag them yet and say they're for real, because we always want to give things time. But I said it earlier today just to kind of give people an idea. Like they could end up being this year's like Vikings, just team you weren't expecting. It kind of got that journeyman quarterback, and then they reel off, schedule kind of favored them. Things went their way because they're already having some breaks too. Kind of if you watch a couple of their games, but man, the Rams, off of a loss like that, usually McVay teams respond. I'm pretty sure the game is in LA, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
I think it is. So I started thinking about things like that and looked up a couple stats that kind of made me like, yeah, but I already said. So I'm going to be a man of my word and stick to. I said the Colts in the chat, so I'm going to stick with it. But I do think that game is. I mean, it's close, man, because there are some things the Colts are doing that it is kind of for real with them. Their ability to be able to run the ball, control that clock. They're getting stops at the right time on defense. Their third down defense is really good. So there's a lot of metrics if you're one of those kind of guys that points to them being like, through there's 3 games, skid. They're legit so far. So that should be a really good game. Really good game.
Okay. J-Mick?
Yeah, like normally when teams come off a loss like the Rams, because the Rams should have beat the Eagles last week. I mean, they kind of had a collapse. Defensively, they didn't do what they had to do in that second half to close out that game. And I believe this is the Colts' first road game of the year, and the Colts have been playing like one of the best teams in the league. So I do think it's going to be a tight game, but I do think the Rams are going to kind of like right the wrongs that they did last week, and I just believe that they're going to win the game. The only thing that did concern me was like late today. I did see that Devontae Adams wasn't practicing today. So I just hope it was just kind of like a vet rest day for him, and that's all they're doing. So I'm going to have to pay attention to the injury report for them. I mean tomorrow, but I mean barring Adams, not playing, like I think they should be able to win this game.
See him?
I'm kind of with you. J. Mick. I think the Colts have definitely been playing great football, man, and they kind of remind me a little bit of the Philadelphia Eagles. A little bit. They have a strong run game, a couple of guys who can make plays out wide. Defense has been showing up. Don't have the pass rush and the push up front that Philadelphia has, but they're a fundamentally sound defense. But with all that being said, Daniel Jones, man, MVP Daniel Jones in the first quarter, man. It just don't sound right. It just don't look right. He's definitely playing better than he has before. I think, man, the slipper, man, the Cinderella slipper slips off in this game, and I think the Rams have a little bit too much for the Colts, man. And they clip their wings, man, in this game.
Okay, all right. I know. I picked the Rams to do this one because they need that bounce back game.
We need to get one of those like wolf hats that they have an NFL Network. When only one of us picks the one team, we just put it on.
Lone Wolf.
Yeah, we need to get something like that, man.
Yeah, we should. Though.
No, it's good. So just for you for reference. Normally on Enter the Lab, when we all pick the same, it's never go well. So we're happy with what it is. It never goes well.
All right, good.
So we all agree on the same thing. But next game, we have the Tampa Bay Bucks versus those Eagles. Eagles came and escaped that win on by the hair of their chinny chin. Bucks are proven to be magicians, but they weren't that much of magicians when it comes down to the injuries. As I stated before, Mike Evans dealing with a hammy issue, and we know hammies can linger all season long. So they said it's not a bad hamstring injury like he had last year. This one's a little bit better with it. But again, you're playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Currently, the Eagles are a 3.5-point favorite. They are going out to Tampa to play this game. Snooks, what do you think about this game between the Eagles and the Bucks?
I'm gonna pull out like what J-Mick mentioned earlier when talking college when he said Georgia has been a long time. Like I don't think the Eagles haven't beaten the Bucks in a long time. They don't usually play them well. it's just one of those weird matchups. Kind of like when we go to Minnesota, we have the Niners haven't beaten the Vikings in Minnesota, I think, since like '93 or something like that. It's really crazy. I know it's nuts. So I'm gonna play into that a little bit here. I think the Eagles got that win last week, and it's a great what you did in the second half. But I'm one of those guys. I can't ignore every number. I can't ignore that your quarterback's only throwing for 159 yards a game. I can't ignore that Barkley looks good, but there hasn't got going yet. Bucks are getting back Godwin and Wirfs for this game. Yeah, so I just the game's in Tampa. I like Tampa in this game. The Eagles have won a lot of games in a row. Those things usually don't last that long in football. Like it's not like the NBA and stuff like that. So I think the Bucks are. I just think the Bucks are going to take this game. It might be by a field goal at the end or like a drive like that. But I think the Bucks are going to win.
Okay, J-Mick.
Yeah, like honestly, like this is a game for both teams where they got a lot of people hurting this game. To be honest with you, it's not just on the Bucs side. Because I thought that with like Zach Brown got like a knee issue that he's questionable. And then the kid that the corner that they got from the Raiders in the trade during training camp, Jacorian Bennett, he's out. I mean, he's actually on IR. Jahad Campbell's got a tricep injury, and then Adoree Jackson got a groin injury. But the Eagle fans are probably happy that he's got a groin injury because he's been terrible, terrible for the first 3 games.
But they also lost Nolan. Nolan has went to IR too. Hurt too. So.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just a lot of Smith? Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah. Nolan Smith.
I might need to rethink my pick.
Yeah, so
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and I mean, Snooze is right, man. The Bucs have had the Eagles' number. I mean, like they've been beating them in the regular season and they've been beating them in the postseason. So they got their number. Maybe if the game was in Philly, I would have picked Philly. But since this game is it's a September game in Florida, which I mean, like they'll tell you that like Northeast teams going to Florida in September, October, it's kind of tough sledding because it'd be really humid down there, it'd be really hot, and I mean the Northeast teams aren't quite used to that. And then you add on top of that, Baker is playing really, really well right now. And I mean, if this game comes down to the end and Baker has the ball at the end, Baker going to win the game. So I'm going with the Bucs.
Yeah, sometimes.
Man, you guys giving me a bunch of new information, man. I'm trying not to make a new decision here, but I'm gonna stay in pocket and I'm gonna go with my original premise, even though I may change when it comes parlay time. I don't know. But with that being said, I like to your point, the Eagles do play the Buccaneers tough. I'm sorry, the Buccaneers do play the Eagles tough, and I feel like they were in the same tier as the Rams were last week, and I picked the Rams last week. But this week, I think with Mike Evans being down, I know Chris Godwin is going to be coming back, but I think he's going to be on a little bit of a snap count. I love that Tristan Wirfs is going to be back, and I think that's probably going to definitely allow them to be able to not control, depending on how he comes back, but do some things with the run game. But I'm still going to go with the Eagles in this. I think they got a little bit of that glow going on right now. I think it's going to be a tough game for them, but I'm still going to go with the Eagles. I think they kind of found something in the second half of that game against the Rams in their passing game. I think that they show a little bit more balance, a little bit more commitment to the pass, that they'll find themselves a little bit more explosive offensively. And again, so early in the season, everybody's going to continue to build on and get better as the weeks and weeks go on, barring injuries. And I think that they'll be able to pull this game out. If Mike Evans was playing in this game, I probably would go with the Buccaneers, but I'm gonna go with the Eagles on here. But again, may change come parlay time.
Yeah. I mean, again, the Eagles are in a position. He needs money. That's his model.
Hello.
Hey, you missed 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly. So, I mean, at this point, I do agree with what Jay Mick was saying about, Northeast teams going to Florida. And I do believe that, when it comes down to tradition, especially when it comes down to the Eagles, the Bucs have their number. I just think, we are in a situation. Last week was a weird week for a lot of teams, and I feel like this week is not going to be anything different. I do see the Eagles probably breaking this off. Yes, Barkley has not looked good. Saquon is we know Saquon to be good, but he just hasn't looked like we have seen him before in the past. And I think this might be the game that they can, because the Bucs are good. on defense. We had our way with them when we played them game one. With that, even though they still have a couple of people out, but we had a good game running with Bijan and Tyler Algier. So I think if they can get that going and kind of get the run game open, get the ball to Devontae, get him out there to AJ Brown, I think that they can actually overcome that right now with there. But I do agree. Baker has that ball at the end of the game. They're going to win. I'm a Falcon fan. They won. So, yeah, they won. That's how that works. So, but yeah, I got the Eagles going into this one. So, Chiefs, Baltimore. We don't get them in Sunday night, but we get them in midday afternoon form.
Desperation ball.
This is a 2.5. But Baltimore is a 2.5 point favorite going into Arrowhead. They are both 1-3 at this time. I'm just gonna let you know this. I heard 1-2. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 1-2. Yeah.
Look, I'm already jumping ahead.
Somebody gonna be 1-3 though. Somebody gonna be 1-3.
Somebody gonna be 1-3. But talking to my Chiefs fans, with that, they're already screaming about the last game. They were already screaming about the Eagles game. But if they go in this and they lose this game, heads are gonna roll. They have concerns with their running game. Patrick Mahomes is basically their all offense. They're still waiting to get some of their wide receivers back. I know Hollywood Brown and Xavier Worthy are doing the best that they can along with Juju. And then the defense has not been doing what they've been doing. They haven't been able to stop the run like that. That the back half of those cornerbacks are not looking with Trip McDuffie back there. With that, even Chris Jones is not looking like Chris Jones that we know. So there's a lot of question marks going on over there at the Chiefs. And Baltimore, at this point, we're just waiting for them to kind of really take off. Roquan didn't look too hot in that game. Derrick Henry didn't look too good either in that game. Lamar and Derrick looked like they was going at it. So it's a lot of question marks on both sides of these teams going on. Snug, what are you thinking about these two? Because I know heads are going to roll from both sides.
Oh, yeah. This is like, we call this the crash out bowl because whatever team loses this, man, it's it's going to be fun times. But let me tell you something real quick. When you were going off of reading all things like, oh, the Chiefs have all this stuff, I'm over here like, whatever, boo-hoo to them. But anyways, I'll have to put my feelings towards this franchise aside for this little segment. No, but honestly, listen, I said this earlier because you mentioned their run game, and I said this earlier in a chat and things like that. I've been thinking about it, and I don't know if this is going to be the staple for the Ravens for the whole season. I get it. They started like this last season, and we know what they're capable of in regular season. It has nothing to do with that. But I think right now, though, I don't think this defense is good, and teams are able to run on them. I don't think somebody like Andy's not going to be able to – and listen, I'm not saying the Chiefs are going to reel off a bunch of yards on the ground, but I think it can be a little more maintainable. And these are the kind of games, to me, we can all feel how we feel about the Chiefs. I just feel like these are the kind of games they win. These are just the kind of games that they win. You know, like I don't know what it is. Like they might win this game 17-16, you know, but they usually just something about these kind of games, you know, and we could say I get to regular season, but these are sometimes the games that at least lately Harbaugh kind of has not been winning, you know, like, so it's, I think the Ravens showed a little bit of softness their last game. The Lions really pushed them around. They're dealing with a bunch of injuries, but hopefully prayers up to the one line because I know it's his neck injury and those can always be a little worrisome. So hopefully he's okay. But I know they're dealing with a few things. I get how we're going to bring things about the Chiefs, but again, I just go back to there's just something about these games they get up for a little bit more. I think the way the Ravens defense is playing right now is going to be just enough for the Chiefs to squeak out something on the ground and get something going. And I just think they're going to win a close game.
Understandable. J Mick, what's that?
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. Like Snook is right what he said. This is the crash out bowl because after this game is over, I'm going to somebody's space and I'm gonna be on the and just have somebody gonna crash out.
100%.
But the one thing I will say, the Ravens defense, they were bad against the run against the Lions. The problem is the Chiefs are not that good at running the ball. So I don't know if they're going to be able to expose that weakness of the Ravens defense. So I mean, there's that point. And then the other thing that I've been saying is that the Chiefs don't want to get into a game where the Ravens are scoring 30 points or more, because the Ravens have done that even though they've lost 2 out of their first 3 games, every game they've scored over 30.
Yep.
So I just don't think the Chiefs want to get in that kind of game where the Ravens are scoring 30 and like they're trying to be like the Bills and come back from like double digit deficit in the fourth quarter, because right now the Chiefs aren't built like that right now. I mean, with the injuries that they have at wide receiver, they won't be able to do that. But saying all that to say, I do agree with Snuggles. Like, I'm picking the Chiefs. This is the kind of game that they got to win. They're at home. It's I think it's more urgent for them because in their division the Chargers are 3-0, and versus in the North, the Steelers and the Bengals are 2-1. The Bengals are wounded, and nobody really knows what to make out the Steelers. So, I think it's more pressing for the Chiefs to win this game versus the Ravens. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs.
Understand? See, Hen, you need money?
I do. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you what. I like both points. I like both you guys' points of views, but I'm gonna tell you this: it's the regular season, and that's when Lamar shines the brightest. He gonna turn on the lights. They fresh off of getting slapped in the mouth. They playing the Chiefs. These are the type of games that Lamar goes crazy, and now we become infatuated with him again. Like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this for 5 or 6 weeks straight. We're gonna get to the playoffs. And then, possibly he falls on his face. So I think this is a game where he shows out. I think this is a game where Baltimore shows out. I do think it's more pressing. It's a more pressing game in terms of winning the division for the Chiefs. But I can see the Chiefs being a more grizzled team and being, more fit to make it through the or go the path of the wild card if need be. The Ravens, I don't trust anybody in their division to run away with anything. I don't trust Pittsburgh. I don't trust Cincinnati right now. And Cleveland. This is depending on how the season goes, somebody can win this division at 10-7. It wouldn't surprise me at all. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't surprise me if only one playoff team comes out of this division right now. So I don't think it's that pressing, but I think this is the type of game that gets everybody kind of back on the bandwagon, if you will, for a team like the Ravens.
Okay.
And yes, E, we need money, baby.
we need what? We need
go
money.
Against the grain sometimes. Sometimes when they see it, you got to zag. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, I'm gonna zag with my Chiefs over here because y'all know I love Big Red. Y'all know I love Andy Reid, and I think he's probably then motivated this team to kind of get it together. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. Now, I know some of us didn't give our college pick for Oregon and Penn State besides C. Hen. Snug, who you going with? No, you're good.
No, I'm gonna go with the Ducks. I'm gonna take the Oregon in that game.
Quack quack.
Yeah.
Quack quack. What are you going, J Mick?
I mean, I'm going origami. That's where I'm going.
Origami.
Yeah.
Okay.
Origami.
Yeah.
Penn State's not gonna fool me.
Look, we're not getting fooled by the whiteout. We're not going to get fooled by the whiteout.
Damn whiteout. Okay.
Good, man.
Whiteout bring the whites out. Watch out.
We are going to do one quick fire pick on this because the only reason why I want to do this is because the commercial just came on, and I just like this commercial. Cowboys versus Packers. Who you got, Snug?
Man, Packers.
J Mick?
Give me some cheese, man, because I'm going with the Packers.
And I come on, Hen. Where you going?
Unfortunately, I'm going with the Packers. So we're all
going with the Packers to this. That's going to be another good game.
The Cowboys are winning 44-20. Let's go.
Yeah,
that's right. I can make fun of Packer
honest
fans on Monday
with you.
morning, so it's a win-win for me. It's fine.
No, look, I'll put it to you like this. I don't know how they're going to do that because George Pickens is a crash out. They don't have CeeDee Lamb. The only thing they got is a good little running game going on, but their defense is not there.
Hey, head for like a quick little, if you want to put a little just quick player prop, he's the 7th most targeted wide receiver in the red zone, George Pickens. and there's no CD.
See?
So
There's no
anytime
CD, so there you
touchdown's
go.
pretty likely. I'm just
Let's
saying,
get money.
helping you out,
Let's
helping
get
you out,
money.
bud.
Let's
Need
get
money.
money.
If you need
Helping you
money,
out.
there you go. We get money, y'all.
Good luck, sir.
See, look. So we are going to go. Game is on. I know Snug want to kind of see what his division foes are doing right now, so he can kind of get a little game plan going on for when it's their time. But we will see you guys next Thursday at 7:00. Well, 7:05. We just don't say 7:05. But we will see you guys again next Thursday. We're out.